Today, I'm going to take this example. I'll be there. I'll be there. And using only shifter, I'm going to beef up the vocals, the guitar, and the drums so that it sounds like this. I'll be there. Everything that I'm going to teach you in this video, I have already consolidated down into a single audio effect rack that you can pick up at my website in the link in the description. But if you want to better understand Shifter for yourself, you can go ahead and keep watching this video. Ableton Live is filled with genuinely a ton of great delay devices. We have delay, we've got echo, pitch loop 89, grain delay, filter delay. It keeps going. All of them are awesome and excellent, but there is one additional delay in Live that too many people overlook. And frankly, it's because it's attached to a device that isn't a delay at all. I am talking about Shifter. Shifter combines a number of functions from all of the other delays and puts them into one device. You have the stereo processing that you can get on delay and echo. You've got the pitch processing that you can get on grain delay and pitch loop 89. And you of course have a really wonderful LFO, but none of the stock delays happen to have all of these things combined. Shifter does. And so I'm going to show you 3 different ways that you can apply Shifter to create really interesting, beautiful delays using the example that you heard at the beginning of this video. So let's talk about how to create otherworldly call and response vocals using Shifter. So here is the vocal without Shifter applied. I'll be there. Now, to apply Shifter in this fashion is pretty straightforward. So I'm going to go ahead and activate Shifter. It's currently set to 50-50 wet dry. I'm going to set the course at 5 semitones, which is a perfect 4th up. So if I were to hit play right now, it would be as if we had the vocals stacked in 4ths. I'll be there. So to achieve the call and response, what I need to do is I need to engage Shifter's built-in delay. Now, with a really fast delay time, or relatively fast delay time, like a quarter note here, this is going to feel a little jumbled. I'll be there. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and lengthen it to an entire measure. So Shifter won't kick in until after a single measure has passed. So at the start of measure 2 here. So now let's listen. I'll be there. I'll be there. Call and response, just like that. But we can do a few other things to make it more interesting. So this fine tune, if we hit the wide button, now becomes a spread control. So if I add just a little bit, not too much, because it will detune the signal, but about 10 cents here, then the delayed response is now going to be really wide. So we're going to hear the main vocal from the center and the delayed vocal from the sides. I'll be there. I'll be there. And then from there, it's kind of flavor. So if we want them to sit a little darker, we can make the vocals, well, darker using this tone control, which is essentially, a low pass shelf cutting out high end. So I'm going to go ahead and darken it up. I'll be there. I'll be there. And then this window is just how much of the audio is being captured to generate these pitch shifted signals here. Now, with a vocal like this, it's really kind of flavor. So I'm gonna go ahead and open it all the way up. It catches a wider bit of the vocal before sending it through shifter and delaying it. And so it almost ends up having a bit of like a slap back kind of feel. I'll be there. I'll be there. And there we go. We have a really quite cool otherworldly call and response vocal. Now I want to show you how to go ahead and create a really nice chorusy delay effect using shifter. So I have a guitar that is just being compressed and has a little bit of EQ, but otherwise I recorded it direct in. So there's no amp or anything else. It's straight out of my Telecaster and it sounds like this. So I'm going to go ahead and activate shifter. And then from there, I am not actually going to deal with the coarse or the fine for this. So we're not going to worry about these two controls. I'm going to start off first by going over to the delay, and I'm going to set it to 3/16 or dotted eighth note. And I'm going to bring up the feedback to about 50%. So let's go ahead and listen to that. Next, I am going to actually use the LFO to achieve the chorusing effect. So I'm going to switch from hertz over to beat rate, and I'm going to set it to 1/16. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up the amount just a bit to, about 0.61 semitones, maybe honestly even a little bit less. We don't want to create some pitch undulations that sound like a seasick turtle or something. I don't know, but you get the idea. We're going to let it set here for now. And to achieve the chorusy effect, I want to first separate the phase of the LFO. So now the left channel is moving and modulating the pitch at a different rate than the right channel. And I'm going to go ahead and adjust the duty cycle too, just a bit. Now, duty cycles can be kind of confusing to understand. The easiest way to think about it is a duty cycle is the amount of time that a waveform spends peaked versus in a valley. And when we shift the duty cycle, we shift the balance of how much time is spent in either direction. That, at its simplest, is all that's happening and is all that is important for this understanding. So then now, with these additions, it sounds like this. And I went ahead and lowered the amount because it was already too much, even at just half a semitone. With some of these parameters on different devices, it can be easy to overdo it really quickly. You just need a little bit to go a long way. And in this case, we really only need a little bit to go a long way. For the drums, we're going to combine everything we've learned about shifter so far. So here is the drum pattern before shifter. It's a relatively sparse pattern. You don't want to put this technique on a really dense drum pattern because we're going to use shifter to fill the space between all of those drum hits. So I'm going to go ahead and activate shifter, set the wet dry to about 30%. And then I'm going to go ahead and activate the delay and set it to 3/16 and bring up the feedback about 30%. Let's listen to that. Already sounding great. Let's keep going. So I want to reduce the window to being just under 20 milliseconds because I really only want shifter to grab the transient of the drums. I'm going to go ahead and darken up the tone as well. And now I'm going to pitch shift it up 7 semitones or a perfect fifth, and I'm going to add a little bit of width because everything is kind of sitting dead middle right now, and I want to widen the stereo image. So we're going to widen the stereo image using the delays from shifter. Spread adds some kind of cool phasery effect to it. We're going to double down on that using LFO. So I'm going to switch LFO to a beat sync at a rate of a quarter note. And the amount, I'm going to go 12 semitones or a whole octave. Because these aren't pitched sounds, we can achieve some more musically stable effects when we do these wide pitch sweeps. So just with this, it sounds like this. You can hear that undulating happening now, which is cool, but we can do more. So first, I want to set the phase to 180, so they're going to be perfectly out of phase with one another. And you can hear a little bit of that separation in the left channel and the right channel. We're going to use the duty control to, again, shift the duty cycle, or essentially reshape the LFO for each side. So I'm going to go ahead and set it to 85. And we can see that really dramatically transforms the shape of our LFO. And we can see that each channel now is really taking a turn at each end of the spectrum here. So genuinely, shifter is such an amazing delay, and it is slept on. As I said at the beginning, if you want to grab the exact presets that I covered and demonstrated in this video, they are the 3 presets that are included with the rack that you can grab from my website. Thank you so much for watching, and please consider liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. I'm working hard to grow this channel, and I will see you next time.